My name is Christine Hummel, and I know both of you very well, and you are my first guest to kick off the podcast. I'm going to tell the group a little bit about my podcast, and I'll throw it to you guys for an intro. But essentially, I want to make sure that women your age and women that are out there doing whatever they want to do, professionally, personally, have other women's experiences and stories, support, and knowledge to be able to make any decision they want to ultimately be the happiest they can be. And so that's really the kickoff of the podcast and the overall objective. It's for anyone and everyone that wants to listen to essentially get power to make the decisions they want to make. So the reason I started it is because a lot of the conversations I've had with you all in college and your friends, and really conversations of asking me, they need a mentor, they needed guidance, they needed stories to understand like what the roadmap looks like. So before we get into it too much, I'm going to throw it to you both. And maybe Ellie, you can go first since we know each other very well for a very long time.
Yes.
So why don't you introduce yourself and tell the audience about yourself?
So my name is Ellie Ternes. I am her daughter. I just graduated here at the University of Alabama. The last 4 years have been crazy meeting people and going through everything. And a lot of people that I've met have turned to my mom for help because she's very good at what she does and very good at communicating with people and leading them into the right directions and giving them confidence.
I did not pay her to say that, by the way. That was all natural. That was really good. Good. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. So I'm 21. I'm going to be moving wherever the wind takes me right now, hoping Nashville for the job after this. And then
What was the deal? What was the deal that your mom told you?
Oh, the deal was for that 1 year of rent will be paid for to move anywhere but Illinois because we are from Chicago, a suburb northwest. Pretty small town, Wakanda. We're both from there. And if I move back to Chicago, I'm going to get stuck there. So the deal was to go anywhere else to venture out and create more opportunities than just being in my hometown.
Right.
Megan?
I'm Megan Hutson, and I'm her daughter's best friend. And I've known these two since I was like 11 years old. And yeah, I have not graduated yet. I'm graduating in December, a semester early, so I'm a year younger. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've known each other for a really long time. We danced together in middle school, high school, and now go to the same college and have lived together for the past year.
Yeah.
Pretty close, some might say.
So Megan, what's your major and what are you looking to study in?
Yeah, I'm majoring in marketing and minoring in sales. So I really want to do like food beverage industry just because my cousin, he works for Corona marketing and I love his life. I literally want his life. And I've been
Because he sells beer. Is that why you love it? Or for
you know,
different
it's like,
reasons?
you know what they say, poor or rich, everybody drinks. So it's a great industry to get into. I don't know, but I'm really just, I'm open for whatever. I chose that major because I knew that I wasn't very indecisive. So I was like, I need something broad. I'm not going to be dumb and pick one thing that I need to stick with for the rest of my life. So I was like, I need something that I can choose. And here I am having to choose. And I'm like, oh, good. I don't know what I'm going to choose. But I do like his life. So that's my goal right now.
Ellie, what
Yeah.
are you gonna do?
Time
What
to
have you majored
choose.
in?
What have I majored in? That's the question. This is where it came time to choose down here. I really figured it out beginning of junior year. I went into college in kinesiology. I always knew I wanted to be sports, but I went in kinesiology, which is more the science side, and quickly realized it's not for me. So then I moved to news media, which was more on the right track. So then I was in, and then I narrowed it down even more to sports media. So I just graduated with my major being communications and my minor sports media. So now I want to be some sort of director, like in broadcast or journalism. I've taken a lot of journalism classes, writing stories. And so being in the sports media industry is something that I'm looking all around for right now. But it didn't. I narrowed it down as the time came. But now,
Did you know I started as a psychology major?
I think you would have been good at that, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Well,
great.
a backup plan.
You know what? You
Plan
can always
B.
go back to school.
If the corona thing doesn't work out and you can't sell beer, you can always be a psychologist. No worries.
I don't know. We'll see.
So as you both went to University of Alabama, which is a huge school, like 37,000 kids that go there. Did you feel that you had what you needed to make the decisions to choose the career or the major that you wanted, not just from like an education and classes perspective, but did you have people around you other than your family or people that you looked up to and mentored to help you make those decisions? Because it's a huge deal to make a decision of what career, not even career, but what choices you're going to make after college. So maybe talk to me a little bit about people that you looked up to or people's stories that you heard or what information that you used to make the decisions that you made to really take off after you graduate.
I think the starting thing for me, because I changed from a science major, kinesiology, to communications, I being fortunate enough to be in a sorority here, which was it's a very big group of girls. There's so many like people in different things, and you really get to talk to anyone because being a freshman, you're going to want to know everything you possibly can. So you're talking to everyone you can. There's different groups that they will put you in, like people in your major, like what they're also interested, like what your interests are. And so you figure out a lot of stuff pretty quickly through other people's interests as well. And so you can kind of grow yourself in the first semester or just first year. And I know my like grand bigs, my bigs big, she was in communications, she was in PR, and she was telling me a lot about that. And I was like, I think that sounds a little more interesting to me. So just being, and there's like an insane amount of like clubs and groups here. So there's something for everyone. And you learn through those clubs and groups, just like really anything you possibly want to know. Like someone will have something interesting to tell you, and so it'll like spark your interest in different areas, which helps you grow like people older than you, especially coming into your freshman year. So that helped me a lot.
Do you feel like do you think it was the commonality that you all had of the sorority, or do you think that those people, it's not just them sharing this common story? Did they give you confidence too in a different way, or do they just give you exposure to different career paths?
And it definitely gave like exposure to different career paths, but also confidence in a way that they were older and they've already done the same thing that we were all going through. They've already been put in these little groups to find out different interests, and they have found their path and they have found what they've enjoyed and they express what they've enjoyed. So it's not just like the commonality of it, but also like people in my classes too, like have been like, oh, I've heard this from this person I like that I don't even know of. And so I'm hearing it from all over, and that's how I kind of like sparked the interest in my own brain.
Yeah, I feel
Got
like you
it.
learn
Megan, how about
more.
you?
Well, I feel like you learn more through connection than you do ever learned in any class. Like for my business fraternity,
That's a really good sentence.
I know that
I
sounds
might
terrible
copy that with the
considering
sleepover. I might
you
coin it.
you should. But I don't know. And that sounds terrible considering we're like almost done, or I'm almost done with college, and I spent all this money. But it's fine. But for my business fraternity, for example, I never would have honestly probably gotten into marketing if my cousin didn't encourage me to apply for that business fraternity, because we have every other week we'll have a speaker come in from a different company, whether that's like an Alabama local company or like big, like huge accounting firm. So we've had all these different like business majors come in and talk to us. And although that's not like student age people, that was really helpful because I'll be like, so I'm hearing about this accounting, like an accountant, and I'm like trying to figure out what I want to do. Nope, it's not that. So you get to hear like what their day-to-day life is career wise. And kind of that was kind of my side of figuring out what I wanted to do when I was a freshman. So
So it sounds like both of you, I will say, are pretty confident people. And that's going to be my next question on why do you think you're confident? But you're pretty confident people. So you have an easy time talking to anyone really in a group and having that connection, Megan, like you said. So I think you've done a really great job at that school where it's a big school, but you find people you have common interests with, and then you not just learn from them in terms of what your career is, but then you gain confidence along the way. But maybe you can both talk to me. Ellie, I'll have you go first in terms of, do you feel like you learned more confidence in college, or do you feel like you already have that confidence going into college? And then does that confidence are you thinking it grows in your future? Like once you graduate, does it build and build and build? And I'm asking this more specifically for women overall, because again, I do think you both have more confidence than your average college student out there, man or woman. So I'm lucky to be talking to you first about this, but this podcast is for a lot of those women that don't have that confidence or don't know how to learn from their experiences or even get experiences. So talk to me a little bit, Ellie, about, when do you think you received your confidence? When did it start? How do you keep fueling it? How do you keep growing it? And then when you become, in the workforce, like what does confidence look like or feel like for you?
Well, this is gonna sound like she paid me to say this again, but I mean, honestly, it started like young, like through you, because I grew up watching you be like very confident and never backing down and like never, I swear.
You can swear 100%.
Okay, and like
100%. Fuck yeah.
Can I swear?
There's no podcast that we're not swearing.
okay,
That is not for me.
okay, that's fair. And so like you never
Wrong
took shit from
podcast.
anyone. That's what I'm saying. Like you never take shit from anybody and you don't let anyone like belittle you or anyone else. And so growing up watching that, that's just how I grew up watching people. And so I mean, that part started very young. But then I think coming into college and then figuring out stuff myself, I mean, not like it lessened a little bit, but I was like, ooh, this isn't as easy as high school. And like I'm high and mighty all the time. Like I can do whatever I want. Like now I got to figure my shit out and kick my confidence up a notch because this is starting the real world and everything. So I think continuing to do that, even if like you aren't getting where you want right away, you like need to keep that up because if you don't, it's gonna hurt you and you're not gonna be, well, as confident. And so you're gonna not maybe take as many opportunities or put yourself out there as much. So if you continue to do the same things that you did before, like facing difficulties or like bumps in the road, then like your confidence is going to sink. But if you continue to be like the same person that you were and keep your confidence high no matter what comes across your path, then you will be able to keep building that confidence even more and more. Because even if you fail, like, okay, so what? Try again. And so you can't let these little things like take you down. Just move on, move past, better yourself, figure out what you did wrong, and that'll build your confidence anyway. Because then you'll be rewarded with what comes out in the end by continuing to try and try and try.
For sure. And you make it sound super easy. You said if something's hard, just kick your confidence up. That's awesome that you have that ability, but most people don't.
Yeah.
So how does one kick their confidence up?
Oh, I have a mindset idea.
Like super boost it.
Okay, so this is what I use. It's like a trick for myself. It may not work for everybody, but like when I think about confidence and also like I felt like leaving high school, did you have like the biggest confidence in the
I
world?
felt like I had the
I
biggest ego
literally,
ever.
I literally, when we, and I think that has to do with coming from a small town because I left, I was like, I'm not nervous to make friends. I'm not nervous to do good in my classes. Like, I'm totally fine. Like, I'm this awesome person. No, I got here and I was like, never mind. But I think it helps to go through the mindset. That sounds bad, but you have to go through the mindset, I feel like, of thinking that like everybody else is actually just as scared as you in their head. It just depends on how much you show it on the outside. Everybody's scared. Nobody is doing this experience, especially in college. Everybody's doing it for the first time. Nobody really knows what they're doing, but you are taking a hit by making yourself look unprepared, unscared, unprofessional, whatever it may be. Like you just have to like fake it till you make it in a way. That's what
Yeah.
I always tell myself.
And honestly,
Oh
if
my
you
God, I
do
just have
that
to get
enough,
through this and fake it and just,
if you do that enough, if you keep faking it till you make
feels
it,
easier
it'll
every
become
time.
natural and you won't have to fake it anymore. It'll be your natural confidence. You'll start to develop these like traits that maybe you are faking.
If it's that easy, how come more people don't do it?
They're scared of the unknown. They're scared to take the leap and put themselves out there. But also, I mean, it could be like introverted versus extroverted people.
Yeah.
But like, because I would say we're very extroverted. So that's why we have these like mindsets that just is like, just do it. And like YOLO, as we say a lot.
But do you think there's a difference of confidence in an introverted person versus extroverted, or can that person still have the same confidence no matter which one you are?
Traditionally, introverts have less confidence, but I've definitely met some introverts that will be like way more confident in like a class presentation than I will be like, for example.
Yeah, it depends
So,
on the situation, I think.
yeah, I think that's situational. That's hard.
Like, like,
What would
we
you say to a girl, a younger girl, or a woman in college, or even in of her professional career that is not confident? Like, how about someone going from high school to college and she's overwhelmed and she doesn't feel like she's going to be successful? Like, what would you say to her? What advice would you give her to gain confidence that she needs to conquer the next obstacle?
I would start off, I mean, same thing Megan said before, that
Like reassuring.
everybody is in the same
Yeah.
boat. You're not alone with your feelings. There's probably a million other people right now that feel the same way you do going into college for the first time. Nothing like, it's obviously going to be scary. So, and everyone else is scared too. You're not the only one. And
So, oh, sorry.
that this happens all the time, every day. Like, you obviously are going to be scared, but that's going to be good because then you're going to be pushed and you are going to want to do things for yourself, make friends, find new places. Like, even if you're scared, you just have to do it and it'll become easy in no time. Like,
Yeah.
right now it's scary, but give it a year and you will know your place. You will know what you want to do. You know, not what you want to be. But even if you're still finding that out, so is probably half of your class.
I still am finding out what I want to be when I grow
Exactly.
up.
And it's everybody's first time doing everything. Even people that are 40, they don't know what they still want to do. If they're 35, they're still figuring out like what maybe if they want to go back to school. Like, there's no path. There's no like path you have to be on. You're not behind, you're not ahead. You're in your own life and you are doing whatever you want to do.
I also think it's helpful to like remember, like, I would remind that person that we were giving advice to like think about the things that you've already accomplished, no matter if it like has anything to do with what you're trying to face that you need confidence for. Like, think about like, oh, I'm going to think about this time that I was so scared to go to my first class, and then look at how many times I've gone to class after that. Like something stupid like that. It's like, how many things have you accomplished? And you look back and you're like, that was silly, that I was so scared. And like, I need to be confident. We can do this. I have done something similar. If I can do that, I can do this. I feel like that's helpful too. And you know, the floating rock mentality, that
No,
like
explain it.
oh my
What?
God. That sticks with me. Whenever I'm like, oh my God, and this could be something like with school or something as stupid as like
So
texting a
stupid.
boy, like
Yeah.
so dumb, but it's the floating rock mentality. The earth is a floating rock, and we are
literally
just
live on a
one
floating rock.
little tiny speck out of millions of people, out of millions of things going around. Like, there's a person next to you could have the biggest thing going on, you'll have no idea. Like, you just have to think about as your problems are just part of the grand scheme of things. And it helps. I feel like that calms me down. That might stress more people out, but like for someone like me, it makes me feel so much better.
My theory is that everyone's got shit. There's not one
Yeah.
person on this planet that doesn't have something going on, good or bad, because we all create our own shit in our minds, right? So minds are super powerful and strong. And so everyone's got something. I don't even believe in the word perfect, but people are dealing with stuff in different ways. So I agree with that. I never heard the floating rock mentality though, Megan.
We're living on a floating rock.
Like the
Nothing-
earth is a floating
it's
rock.
gonna keep rotating.
And it
You're
keeps
gonna
going.
keep on living.
Life goes on. I'm getting a
everything's gonna be
tattoo of that.
Are you really?
Goes on tattoo.
I want to. I mean, like every time something goes right and wrong, I literally go, life goes on. Because it does, no matter what, it goes on.
What's the other? So life goes on as a motto we talk about. Ellie, what's the other one that we use about life when you have to
Try
make a
harder?
decision?
I said YOLO.
Oh,
YOLO, correct.
Yeah.
What does
YOLO's
YOLO
got-
mean?
Maybe I'll get that. Megan will get life goes on. I'll get YOLO.
we
So,
should.
so what does YOLO mean, Ellie? And how do we use that?
We use it a lot. I mean, just taking risks, like anything, something maybe embarrassing will happen. YOLO.
Are you going to say?
What does it stand
Oh,
for?
you only live once? I'm sorry. I thought that was implied.
Yeah, no, not everyone knows
You
that.
only live
Everyone
once. So take that risk. Like, apply for that job, text that person, like,
Go to that concert.
go to that concert.
You only live once.
YOLO.
Even if you're tired, YOLO. You
Yeah.
can sleep when you're dead, right?
Yep. Sleep when you're
Yep.
dead. Tomorrow's
Get more confidence too, doing just things that YOLO, like you only live once, just do it. And then you do it and say it works out. Be like, huh, that
And
was
if
great.
it doesn't,
And if it doesn't, life goes on.
So I think for what I'm hearing from both of you, and I do the same thing, the more experiences you have, the more people you talk to, the more confidence you get. And so you try to diversify your life by meeting new people, trying new things if you're uncomfortable or not. And I believe if you're, Ellie, you said this before, if you're comfortable, you're really not going to change or grow. And if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. But I believe that to live life to its fullest, you got to keep trying new things every day. So, on that theme, if you think about other people that are maybe not as confident, girls in, let's say, middle school, high school, college, do you feel like there's family pressures, cultural pressures, religious pressures that people that you may know that they're trying to live up to? And maybe they're choosing that pathway to make their family happy or follow their religion's rules or whatever. If they're, strong German and they have a certain model for a person to be, that mom supposed to be a mom or a wife. How do people that either deal with that? And do you think that it's harder for them to gain confidence?
I mean, more on the religion aspect, I think because we're in the South, we see a lot of that, mostly very traditional. Most of the people in my grade that are from Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia are engaged ring by spring. Like it's a very set path of life that they're kind of taking on and that they've been like taking on. Cultural aspect, obviously there's going to be diversities everywhere and possible setbacks and things that you're going to have to conquer on your own individually, like figure out your own path.
So do you think those
Reiterate.
women are making those choices because they're supposed to make those choices, or do you think they could be making them because they want to make those choices?
I feel like you're encouraged by your parents the way you live your college life, like so greatly. Like I've noticed people from where we're from, it's like you need to be successful. If you want to be successful, you need to get a degree. That's the stereotype I've been implanted in my head. And then down here, it's like if you want to find a husband, you have to go to college and find your husband,
Yeah.
which is
What's the
absurd.
point of
But
going to college? What's the
yep,
point?
that's the cultural difference I feel like between
Hmm,
like northern area and southern area. It said our meeting will end in 10 minutes. That's great.
that's okay. We'll wrap
Okay.
her up.
But anyway, but yeah, I've noticed a big difference with that. And I'm like, that is the most insane thing to me. But it is, it's a culture difference.
Literally is how you're raised, like where you're from, how you're raised, because we have such a diverse, like out of state, in state, all over. Every person you can think of probably goes here. So it's literally how you were raised, what you know, what you're comfortable with, if you like it or not. Like there's so many different things that go into it. And then you come here and all things change. So it really
Yeah,
just
I just
depends.
wonder, like, sometimes are those women, if they're happy doing that, right? And they're truly, that's their choice, right? Go them, to each their own. Every woman should be allowed to do whatever they want. But if they're just doing it because their family wants them to do it or their culture taught them that that was the next thing to do, and then they're living a life that not necessarily is something they wanted individually. Like, what if she wanted to be a veterinarian? Or she wasn't allowed to do that, or what if she was a lesbian and she had to get married to a guy, right? And I don't know the answer, but a lot of women don't know what they don't know because they're just following what they're told, and they don't have a hot second to think about individually what they want. Or do they have the confidence, as we talked about, to push back and say, no, this isn't for me. No, I'm going to take a different path and I'm going to go to vet school or, whatever that may be. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, but that's part of the reason this podcast, I wanted to create it so that people can hear different versions of the story and at least know that there is no one answer for every woman out there. So maybe just one kind of last question to wrap it up. Megan, did you have a comment?
No, I was just saying that was a good open-ended question for the first episode of this podcast. Let's leave it open for the rest.
I want to do one more question to wrap her up. So, um, do you, and this could maybe be a part two in my next one, but do you think that you have what you need from a confidence perspective, from, having mentors and women supporting you and the right tools, right? The right things that you need to move into the next chapter of your life in your professional work life? Or do you feel like women your age, let's call it early 20s, they need something more and different when they're starting out with their careers?
I think that I'm lacking a category. Like, I personally don't feel prepared yet. I mean, I haven't graduated, but I think that it's helpful. Like, even something as small as like this, like, it's nice to be able to like hear other people's experiences and like get to know like how we can kind of get advice from other women in a way entering the world as like young career people.
Yeah. And I think also, I mean, we were kind of talking about this earlier, even maybe not just women, but like, I mean, a generational thing. Like I mean, it's obviously a lot different getting jobs now than it was 20 years ago. Everything's much, I feel like, more competitive right now. You need a lot more years of experience when we've been in school for the last however long. So we do have the tools, but they're just like kind of hard to come by sometimes, I feel like.
I feel like if anything, we have confidence. That's just, I don't know. At some point, it's just not crossing the line all the way to like feel like I'm ready to like be a full-time like employee or something like that.
Yeah.
And you'll probably never feel ready, and that's okay, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have to jump into something and learn it. You're never gonna be perfectly qualified for a job. You know, there's actually a statistic out there that women, when they're looking at jobs to apply to, they read the entire job description and the responsibilities and the requirements, and they feel like they have to match 100% of all those requirements to even apply. And when a man applies, if he like thinks he's got 25% of those, he applies because he'll figure it out, right? So I think that speaks to the difference of confidence, and women want to, if they do something, they want to do it 100% all in. And we feel like we don't have enough credibility to take a risk to go for it because we don't want to be seen as failing, right? So keep that in mind. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to be 100%. As long as you have the risk taking ability to do something different and you guys have the confidence and you're smart, you should be able to want to take that risk.
Yeah,
Does that make
I
sense?
also think our generation's really just like very afraid of failure. I think everyone's like, if I fail, oh my
Like
God,
that.
I don't know. But like, I mean, I think that's how where I stand too. Sometimes, like, if I'm being like, why am I so scared or not confident right now? Like, it's not like me. I'm like, oh, I know, because I don't want to fail. But I feel like that's something that you have to like come over experience and
Then
time.
also then goes back to what we said before. Even if you do fail, sucks,
Life
but
goes on.
then try again. Like life's not over. It's not gonna end. Life is about failing. If you don't fail, you won't succeed. So
Yeah, a lot of people say you can't grow without failing, right? You can't learn
Yeah.
without failing.
you're
So
not gonna get everything
yeah.
right on the first time you do it. That's not how life goes at all.
why do you think so many people fear that though? Do you think it's because of the competitive like pressures have increased over time with like social media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said social media is a crazy part of
Mhm.
everything now because you see everything that everyone is doing no matter what.
Yeah.
And
Even
most of the time it's altered. So
yeah,
like,
and it's completely altered what they post. It's not actually true.
Yeah, it's all faux.
So even like, I mean, not just like influencers, but people posting about their day in my life stuff. Like it looks so perfect and you like want to achieve that. And if you don't have anything close to that, you're gonna compare yourself. So and that never will get you anywhere comparing yourself to others. You're on your own path. And so that will lower your confidence. But if you stay in your own lane and figure out your shit for yourself and focus on you, you will climb up way higher than scrolling on social media and comparing yourself to others.
Do you
comparison.
think the fear of failure is different for women and men your age?
Here.
We we
Yeah,
need
I
to phone a
think we
friend.
need a guy.
So we need to phone a
I
friend.
think
Next show.
No, I think that boys don't compare themselves as much as
they
girls
don't
do.
know.
I don't
Yeah.
What do you
think
think that is?
Because I mean, for the long, however long life has been going on, girls have been. We have to look like
yeah,
and
I feel like
act,
we
and
care about our image.
there's way more that goes into being a girl and how you present yourself and what you do and like how successful you are than your average Joe Schmo that's just a business guy. Everybody's a business guy. We got to like up ourselves continuously to prove that we are capable of doing things.
I have a quick story. I was at
We're out of time.
we ran out of time.
I mean, I think the 10-minute mark's probably coming.
You know, and wait, we
Oh,
have
you have
2 minutes.
Okay, real quick story and then we'll wrap it up. when I was at a job a couple of years ago, I had an equal colleague, same role, but we managed different business units. And every quarter we had to present to the executive committee, the president, the CEO, and it would be a ton of prep work. I would take like 2 weeks and make sure, because it was my chance to deliver to executive leadership what I was working on. And my colleague, same age, but a guy, he would always say to me, "Why do you always try so hard and prep so much for these meetings?" And I replied to him and I said, "Because I have to try harder to be seen as equal as you are." And he kind of like stepped back and he's like, an aha moment for him. And he has two daughters in high school. And he's like, you know what? He didn't prep at all. He just said, like, he just showed up and he did a couple slides and he was good. So he thought about it. We had conversations about it and actually started teaching his two high school daughters about, just being seen as equal in the workforce. So that's just a sidebar, but we always do have to try harder, unfortunately, just to be seen as equal.
Yeah.
But with that, I know we're at time. So I want to thank you both, Ellie and Megan, for joining me on my first podcast. And we will hopefully have you back on the show and maybe we can have some guys we interviewed.
Everyone bring a friend.
Yeah, you can each bring a guy friend. But awesome. Thank you for sharing it. You are two confident,
Thanks.
lovely ladies. Bye.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on.
Save
Pause.
it. Pause and then save.